Welcome back to Game and Hay. Time now to turn our attention to Sri Lanka, the West Indies opposition today. And we'll start by looking at the batting performances so far across the tournament. They've been obviously part of the qualification period as well, so there are lots of matches under their belt. They've played well through the qualification part, but in the Super 12s they've been rather up against it. So the figures look like this. There have been some fine shots played, I'll tell you that. This is a sort of side, largely young side, where there's lots of talent. The likes of Sri Lanka, Rajapaksa especially, have played some fantastic shots. But what they haven't had so far have been the results in the Super 12s, which leaves them languishing towards the bottom of this points table in this group. But let's have a sort of little think about what they might be doing. Viv, let's come to you first. We always admire, when you go to a side like Sri Lanka, and it's a country which produces raw talent, we always admire the likes of, say, Sri Lanka, Rajapaksa, who've come in, played their shots. They've had some performances without winning matches, which suggests they're not far from being the sort of Sri Lankan side we expect, but they just need that little bit of time, maybe a little bit of experience, and maybe to gain the experience of winning against some of the better sides.
Well, we've heard Javed mention that it's a team, young team, it looks good for the future. And some of the performances that we have seen so far does suggest that it's a team that hopefully in the next 2 years, 4 years, would have developed whatever experience that they would have had at this particular tournament, and a team that you would expect to be much better in the future. Certainly the talent is there. You look at the quality and the spinners, also the batters as well. They have some very, very good players, and I just think maybe because of maybe a few little lapses here and there in experience, which they lack on this particular tour in itself, but hopefully they would gain all that will be necessary for them to be a force in the future.
Yeah, and I mentioned a couple of names there. One is Javed Sri Lanka, who's certainly shown us some shots, certainly shown us some talent there. And this is just having a look at him here. This is up against Bangladesh.
Not helpful, that bit of feeling. Good, that's good balanced shots, you know, especially you can play shots like that. Does suggest power as well. They almost have everything. And I guess after this tournament, we'll see a better team performance from the individuals in the future. That was brilliant as well, just perfectly timed. Not that good, but you'll take that.
But we always have to do this. When you compare, for instance, the guys that have made their 50s and 60s, we've seen 100, we've seen Gupta making 90 yesterday. It's whatever it takes to go from making these 30s and 40s and looking good to making the bigger scores and therefore putting bigger totals on the board for a team.
I mean, look, they are talented. They've been doing good, but they need that one step ahead, a match winners. They lack in the middle like quality all-rounders, and definitely the experience is missing. When you shifting one team to another, making changes, you need to carry few senior players along with young talent. They mix up, you can make a good team. But us as a friend, Mickey Arthur, he doesn't like senior players at all. You need to carry few. If you look at a Pakistani team, why all of a sudden it looks better? Because previously, once they select the first team, there was a lot of places missing. Experience wasn't there, Malik wasn't there, and few others. So I think you need to have a mix, not to one extreme with what West Indies does. The average age is like maybe 40.
Well, what I think, that is. Oh man, that one hurts. That's a body shot.
So you need balance. You need balance. That's what missing is. But moving forward, you see their batting. There is a talent, but there is no one who can finish the game, playing in like big innings, and definitely. They have pace to pace bowlers, to spinners, but still they have fifth bowler, which is like a weaker link. And even their pace bowlers, they still need some guidance. They need somebody, mentioned the other day, Tushara Pereira. He mentioned Mickey Arthur because he said, I cannot continue with his mindset. So he stepped down. If that guy is in there, he's got experience. He can actually guide the young bowlers at the same time.
We have the same issue in our past management. There was someone said, I can't work with this management. And like talking about my friend, this team, 12 of this Pakistan team, they were at Mickey's time as well. So he kept the seniors. Like Hafiz was there, Malik was there. Like it's about having a senior player in your side. Like we talk about Chris Gale. So influence in the dressing room. If you got a good influence in the dressing room, if you're a senior player, then it's good for the team. When you don't have a role model, if you're a senior player, you should be a role model for the younger guy. If you not a role model, then you're not a good senior. Then you won't be part of that team. The building a culture. So that's why my friend
bad
was,
examples.
yes.
Instead
So
of
that's why the problem where
the role model.
Yeah.
Where the problem starts, like if your role model is not a role model, is a liability, then it's very difficult for the team to progress.
Well said.
Good point. Good point. Should we have a look at another batsman, Banaka Rajapaksa, who's another one of these talented young Sri Lankans who's made runs, but again, the same thing. To win games, you need a lot of this, and then a bit more of this. I mean, there's some fabulous shots here. When you look at them, you can see that there is huge potential in the side.
Sri Lanka.
That's easy. I mean, that's just flicked away, with the ease that belies the youth. A bit of power as well. There's some good shots here.
As Javed, you did say that it's a team that you believe could go all the way in the future. And maybe that's why they would have assembled this particular mob, that we're not expecting to win, but the experience gained from this particular tournament may take them, make them a better team in the future.
Yeah, sometimes the timing is not right, because recently, when he joined Sri Lankan team,
Mickey?
2016.
2019, after the World Cup, he went straight, finished Pakistan, and then after 6 months, he was part of.
Since then, he made, the first time they came to Pakistan with this young team.
Yeah, Mickey
they
was
done well. And I think they need a bit more time. The next World Cup, they might come up with very strong team. But I think, rebuilding is always dangerous at one point. Because, I mean, when I see Pakistan going through a phase where it's a rebuilding phase, West Indies a rebuilding phase. Come on, man, they've been playing from last 70 years. So it has to be a consistent policy.
But every side goes through these phases. Every side, like
even England does in 2015.
Absolutely. Come on, England were rock bottom in 2015 at the end of that World Cup. They'd lost to everyone.
Because you follow one type of cricket, and then all of a sudden there is change in the world. You have to follow that steps to be there all the time.
What I can tell you for sure is that losing sometimes contagious. And when you get in that stage, sometimes it becomes a little bit unbearable at times. And that gets you into the mood where you take that next step in terms of when you start winning, that's seriously and also contagious. So when you get from one step to the next, this is what the game is all about, the changes that's been made at times.
I just need to come in here. Look, this team, Sri Lankan team, we're talking about Sri Lankan team, there was a rebuild process going on. And right now, you can see the core of Sri Lankan cricket in this lineup. So, Rajapaksa, Nishanka, Shanika, Hasaranga, these are the core of this, new build Sri Lankan team. So if, for example, Mickey goes away, so new coach came in and he started reshuffling the core of the team, that's where the problems start. And that's what happened with Pakistan in last 2-3 years.
3 years.
Yeah, so core was there. When we left, like Mickey and our regime left in 2019, you got the same core. And if you reshuffle that core, you can't make a right decision. So your core should be there.
Different coaches, they will see a different core.
No,
I mean, it's
I
different for
I understand,
different people.
but you see where your team was. Your team was number one in the world for T20
That
for
was,
two and a half
that was wrong.
years.
But what
Yeah.
Aaqib is saying, I agree with him, because there are other teams who have rebuilt. For example, India. There was quite a very smooth transformation in India. When Dhoni left, he kept playing as a player under Virat Kohli, and slowly, gradually, he distanced himself, and there was quite a smooth transitional period. So, I mean, with Sri Lanka also, if I guess Mickey Arthur would have let some of the seniors play till this World Cup, who might know that they might be in the
No,
semis.
why it was smooth transaction? Because Dhoni went and the team was there. The core was always there. So they never shuffled the core.
So, that
that's-
credit has to be given to the coaches also at that point. That
The
they
other,
did not-
the other point about that is if you have a strong captain. So if the captaincy passes from, say, Dhoni to Kohli as an example, or in England, Morgan, just referring back to 2015, he was given that side, wasn't his side. As soon as he'd finished and lost that World Cup, he said, right, if I'm going to captain England, I need to have my side, and I need to be strong. So if you have a transition with the coach, if you've got a strong captain, then the captain still, as Viv would love, I'm sure, the captain still dictates and the coach helps. And you're a great fan of captains and players taking responsibility. I'm not sure you're a huge fan of coaches telling a talented squad what to do, but if you have that sort of transition, then the captain says, right, these are my players, let's just make them better, and then the coach can actually add something in at the end of it.
It's all part of the rebuilding process, and so long as whoever comes in after sees that blueprint in terms of taking the team forward. As Sana mentioned earlier, that there's some coaches sometimes are not in favor of this particular individual, and sometimes they make changes at times which can be seriously disruptive.
But the thing is, like England, you're talking about England, Morgan, after the World Cup, they didn't sack Morgan. They give him responsibility. What happened here, like in 2019 World Cup, when team was doing really well, we didn't qualify for the semis, but the team was on the same points as New Zealand, okay? So you come back, you won last 4 games, then you come back, one series, you change the team, and after that series, you change the captain. So that never helped any team, anywhere.
Yeah. Okay. Should we have a quick, Sally, do you want to have a quick look at the bowling just before we finish this segment?
राशिद भाई और उमर भाई, आप दोनों बहुत देर से खामोश अपनी बारी का इंतजार कर रहे हैं, तो अब ये पूरा जो बॉलिंग सेगमेंट है, प्लीज आप दोनों ने इसको कवर करना हमारे लिए.
नहीं, पहले मैं इस पे जाऊंगा जो अजहर ने बात की थी इसकी मिकी आर्थर की, इसको रोक दीजिएगा अभी. मिकी आर्थर की बात की 19 जो वर्ल्ड कप है, हमारे पास बैड लग गई हुई के साथ में कैप्टन भी चेंज हुआ, और 17 की चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी के बाद हम रेशियो देखते हैं लॉस का पाकिस्तान का. हम आगे सिर्फ T20 नहीं देखेंगे, टेस्ट मैचेस अगर देखते हैं, हम श्रीलंका से सीरीज हारे दुबई में. सिलेक्शन कमेटी भेजती है स्पिनर्स को, बिलाल आसिफ को भी भेजती है और यासिर को भी. आप नहीं खिलाते वहाँ पे. दुबई में 2 स्पिनर खेलते थे, आपने 3 फास्ट बॉलर खिला दिए एक स्पिनर के साथ. मिस्टेक किसकी हुई? कोच की हुई. फिर हम वेस्ट इंडीज से डे नाइट मैच एक जीते और एक मैच वहाँ पे हारे. वेस्ट इंडीज जैसी टीम से हम फिर हारे, तो हमारा ग्राफ तेजी से नीचे जा रहा था, जिसकी वजह से डिसीजन लेना पड़ा. बाय फोर्स लिया या क्रिकेट बोर्ड की अथॉरिटी, लेकिन बड़ा डिसीजन जो किया वो सरफराज की कैप्टनसी थी. मिकी आर्थर ने टीम बना दी थी, अजहर थे उसके साथ, लेकिन जो मेन जो डिसीजन था वो सरफराज का था कि उसको कप्तान, जैसे मोगन की बात की, वहाँ पे अथॉरिटी देते और टीम को लेके चलते, शायद बेहतर रिजल्ट आते. ये रीजन कह सकते हैं. बाकी श्रीलंका की टीम के देखिए, वर्ल्ड कप ये नहीं होते कि रीबिल्डिंग के लिए वर्ल्ड कप नहीं होते कि यहाँ से टीम हम बना रहे, जैसे आकिब ने जिक्र किया, यहाँ से टीमें नहीं बनती. क्यों नहीं किया आपने? 1.5 साल पहले टीम बना ली कि यहाँ पे आके अच्छा परफॉर्म करे. अंडर परफॉर्म किया, टीम अच्छी लग रही है, कुछ प्लेयर अच्छे हैं, निशांका अच्छे हैं, बॉलिंग अच्छी है, सरंगा इनके बहुत अच्छे हैं, ठीक शाना को आपने देखा, ये अच्छे बॉलर हैं 5-6. लेकिन ये भी कितने पाकिस्तान का टूर किया था इन लोगों ने, काफी प्लेयर्स ने किया था, लेकिन 2 साल पहले की अगर बात करें तो ये प्लेयर्स थे. 2 साल बहुत बड़ा टाइम होता है क्रिकेट में, सुपरस्टार बन जाते हैं. यहाँ पे हम इनको ये बोल रहे हैं कि ये बनेंगे प्लेयर. 2 मैच 3 मैच के बाद बंदा आ जाता है, जैसे संगाकार आया, महिला जयवर्ड ने आया, चमिंदाबाद आया, मुरलीधरन आया. तो ये प्लेयर को 2 साल 3 साल नहीं लगे. हाँ, कुछ प्लेयर थे, मार्वन अटापाटू फ्लॉप हुआ है इनिशियल स्टेज में, सबको पता है, लेकिन बाद में वो टेस्ट प्लेयर में 6 डबल सेंचुरीज बनाई उसने. लेकिन ये 2 साल से खेल रहे हैं और अभी भी हम बोल रहे हैं कि ये टीम आगे जाके अच्छी बनेगी, ठीक है टैलेंट प्लेयर है, लेकिन मेरे ओपिनियन ये है कि 2 इयर्स में आप कहाँ से कहाँ चले जाते हैं। बाबर आजम की मिसाल है, एक साल में रिजवान की मिसाल है, एक साल में हसन अली की मिसाल है, एक साल में बहुत सारे प्लेयर्स की मिसाल है, लेकिन अभी भी हम सोच रहे हैं यार ये आगे जाके अच्छा परफॉर्म करेंगे। मेरे ख्याल से राइट एटीट्यूड नहीं है।
नहीं, अजहर भाई एक सेकंड पहले उमर भाई की तरफ आना है, फिर आपके पास आएंगे। आपको सबसे ज़्यादा इम्प्रेसिव कौन लगे श्रीलंका की बॉलिंग में जो हमने देखे हैं? सारे बॉलर्स, फास्ट बॉलर्स भी, स्पिनर्स भी। सबसे हसारंगा तो ऑब्वियसली टॉप विकेट टेकर रहे हैं, इनकी बॉलिंग जो टिक्शाना, इनके बारे में क्या आप समझते हैं?
नहीं, बिल्कुल इस तरह के जिस तरह अभी जो राशिद भाई ने बात की ना कि पिछले 2-2 साल 3-3 साल से खेल रहे, आप इनसे एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे कि अच्छा परफॉर्म करे। स्पेशली जो 2 इनके बॉलर है, चमीरा तो काफ़ी टाइम से खेल रहा है, और कुमारा, तिक्षाना बिल्कुल इनके लिए एक ज़बरदस्त डेवलपमेंट है श्रीलंका के लिए कि एक नया वो है, मिस्ट्री बॉलर है, काफ़ी लोगों को समझ नहीं आ रही। तो आई थिंक ये इनके लिए, लेकिन वही जिस तरह मेंडिस आया था ना कि अर्ली ऑन उसने काफ़ी टीमों को डिस्टर्ब किया, प्रॉब्लम होगी, लेकिन जब उसको पिक करना शुरू किया तो वो एकदम से गायब हो गया। तो ये भी उसी टाइप का बॉलर लग रहा है, लेकिन फिलहाल ये श्रीलंका के लिए अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं। एक अच्छा वर्ल्ड कप मैच डेवलपमेंट हुई। हसारंगा की अगर आप बात करें तो वो ये किस तरीके लंबा खेल सकते हैं श्रीलंका के लिए, जिस तरह वो आया था पाकिस्तान में परफॉर्म किया, फिर अभी वर्ल्ड कप में हाईएस्ट विकेट टेकर जा रहे हैं। तो आई थिंक वो एक अच्छा श्रीलंका के लिए एक अच्छा राउंडर है। और बिल्कुल टीम राशिद भाई ने बात की कि 1-2 साल में ये बन सकती है, तो वो मेरे ख्याल से इनके अगर आप बैटिंग लाइनअप देखें ना तो उनमें आई थिंक हमने बात की एज अ जो बैट्समैन है इनके, उनमें पोटेंशियल है कि वो अच्छे बैट्समैन आगे बढ़ सके। लेकिन जहाँ तक आपकी जो बात की है, बिल्कुल आई एग्री विद यू कि कुमारा और जो चमीरा है ये काफ़ी टाइम से, बल्कि चमीरा तो काफ़ी 5-6 साल से खेल रहे हैं, तो आई थिंक इनको अभी तक मोर इम्प्रूव होना चाहिए था।
बिल्कुल, और इम्प्रूवमेंट आ सकती है, और वर्ल्ड कप ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म नहीं है, मेजॉरिटी लोग यही कह रहे हैं कि जहाँ पे टीमों को डेवलप किया जाए, यहाँ पे मैच जीतने के लिए जाना चाहिए, और हम मेजॉरिटी लोग इसी बात से अग्री करते हैं। अजहर भाई आप कुछ ऐड करना चाह रहे थे?
नहीं, मैं बात हो रही थी कि श्रीलंका की जो है ना, लेकिन अब देखें कि 2 साल में मैंने राशिद भाई को लिख के दिया था कि मैचेस कितने खेले। देखें अब जब आप वर्ल्ड में खेलने के लिए आते हैं, वर्ल्ड कप में आते हैं, तो आपने पीछे देखना कि मैचेस, ये टीम मैचेस 2 साल में कोविड की वजह से दे हैवंट प्लेड इनफ क्रिकेट। ओके, सो yes, they were here and they won the series against Pakistan, but they haven't played any cricket. So their progress, you can't see their progress, moving forward. But any team, like when you're competing with the world, like playing against England, Australia, okay, they are already a quality side. So competing with them is very difficult. What is that? Urdu, sorry.
आज बहुत अच्छा रिमाइंडर राशिद भाई की तरफ से।
Okay, Viv, in Urdu, what was that?
It looked like Urdu to me.
Okay, so at least you can read Urdu. Do we need to...
Yeah. I'm done. I don't want to talk anymore. I'm done today.
Just in general terms, when you got these two sides, for instance, just in general terms, despite pitches and, is it better for teams just to play to their own strengths? I mean, for instance, West Indies have the chance to play pace today if they want to against a Sri Lankan team that might be more vulnerable against that because they understand spin. For Sri Lanka, their spinners are their best ploy. They're playing up in Abu Dhabi where we've seen a bit more pace. So
Let's see.
stick to your strengths or
Let's see what
play the pitch.
I think there's definitely some changes need to be made, and if you look at maybe the matchups and what would have taken place in the past, West Indies need to make some changes, maybe to fit the matchups and the dislikes of the Sri Lankans, and hopefully we get some pace in the mix.
So that's your, okay, so you do say maybe a bit.
There's some changes needed.
Yes, I mean, for instance, just as a name, I mean, Shane Thomas hasn't played in this tournament yet. We know, I've seen him before elsewhere where he's got a bit of pace. But of course, the other side to all these arguments is you can argue for pace in generic terms, in general terms, but you also want good pace.
That's right.
You want someone who's going to bowl well under the circumstances.
I mean, look, if you look at all 12 teams, there are only few teams at the best at this time. England is doing well. Your progress should be over the year. It's not about doing well in particular 6 weeks or 5 weeks. Who's doing well? England is doing well, playing good cricket. Then Pakistan all of a sudden become good. If you see their progress, there's nothing. So this is maybe a time being, good time, conditions. It shouldn't be like this. Who actually progressed? England, then New Zealand, India, Australia. Actually, these are the 4 top teams in the world. When they were playing Test Championship, they were actually looking like a different world if you compare with other teams. When West Indies, Pakistan playing Test matches, there was no comparison the quality of cricket what England, Australia, India, and New Zealand was playing. So I think the progress, overall progress, West Indies going down, Bangladesh going down, Sri Lanka is down, South Africa with immense talent, their policies, the cricket board, they're going to go down and down. So I think now everyone should focus on their teams, and ICC actually push them somehow to save this game, because the 4 teams are improving and the gaps is becoming bigger and bigger. So we got 3 tiers now. 1, the 4 teams, power teams, then the rest of the 6 teams, and then the associate teams. So when England is playing with Sri Lanka or West Indies or Bangladesh, the gap is same as West Indies playing to PNG. So this is a very serious threat to international cricket.
You know, like you mentioned about when they were playing a Test Championship game, you know, where they're playing, they were playing in England, okay? So pitches are good. So when you're playing in subcontinent where the slow low, we talk about Bangladesh, here in Pakistan, when pitches are not sporting pitches, then you can't make a result. Urdu. Because it was English question, that's why Rashid.
Okay, I'll ask in Urdu. Okay,
Actually, we have
England
2 English,
playing
2 Urdu, and 1 who's doing
One mix,
both.
Relu Kata.
Look, England is number 1, performing good. Where? In UAE, low, slow pitches, still they are the best. It's about the combination, it's about the continuity, it's about your routines, your policies, everything does matter.
ये उन्हीं 5 टीमों की थी ना जिनके कप्तान मैं जो पहले बात कर रहा था, जब मैंने शुरू में बात की थी, ये 4 टीमें, मोगन, विलियमसन, फिंच and विराट कोहली and then सरफराज, you know, ये वही 5 टीमें हैं जिनके रिजल्ट आपको अच्छे मिले.
Definitely, I mean, look, everyone, the sports staff, the cricket board, try to make captain a leader. Give them a long time to build his own team.
Okay, right. On that note, we need to sort out a few things. First of all, we've got plenty of hours left in the day for West Indies and Sri Lanka to work out what their best tactics are. We've probably got 10-15 minutes to work out who's speaking Urdu, who's speaking English in the studio and when. Although the sentiments, I'm sure, are the same very much on both sides. But the other thing we need to remember is there's another game going on between Australia and Bangladesh in Dubai, and we need to get the pitch report now from Dubai.
A day game in Dubai between Australia and Bangladesh. So as far as the atmospherics are concerned, we're in for a fair contest. No nighttime due to worry about. The pitch is centrally located. There is one slightly shorter boundary to the leg side from where I'm standing. So from this end, the right-handers will be targeting that leg side boundary. This is the pitch that was used between New Zealand and Scotland yesterday. A very good one for batting. Kyle Kurtzer, the Scottish captain, said it was the best batting pitch that they'd seen. 328 runs scored in the day, 22 fours, 14 sixes suggest that it's a very decent batting surface. I wonder how Dale Steyn would bowl on it.
Yeah, thanks, Athers. And yesterday, Kyle Kutzer is absolutely right. This is a belter of a wicket. A great game yesterday. A little bit in it for the seamers. Bolton Southey got some swing and some bounce. And for the spinners, Sodhi and Santner were very tidy and economical. And I think Australia are going to be happy with that. In a game where their players have to come out and flex their muscles and get that net run rate up to find themselves in the semi